Really? 2017 is over and we are now in 2018, and with the exception of this guy getting more popularity, there's not really that much I can look back on fondly in the last 12 months. But on the plus side, there were some times when I did go to the cinema and wanted to claw my own eyes out with a rusty spoon. You see folks, aside from some really good films that came out last year, there were also some bad ones, and I thought I would share them all with you. And of course, I haven't seen every single film that came out in 2017, there will be a brief list in the description below for the ones that I didn't get to see. Also, I've not seen 50 Shades Darker. And you want to know something else? I don't want to see 50 Shades Darker. Okay, I don't want to take time out of my life to go and see that in the cinema. Alright, so no, that is not going to be on my list. I've not seen any of the 50 Shades films, and I will most certainly not be seeing the new one coming out soon. And yet again, I have not ranked these based on their grades, but instead based on which ones I would rather watch if I had a gun pointed to my head. So sit back and suffer with me, as these are the top 10 worst films that I saw in 2017. Let's go! Starting off our list is The Mummy, otherwise known as the worst possible example of how to start up a cinematic universe. It tried to come off as the next big thing in horror, but it was just awful. The plot is very slow yet also incredibly rushed, the characters have little to no chemistry between them, and they try to shove the story in our faces instead of trying to build upon the cinematic universe. You know, like Marvel did, when they were building up on the characters and the worlds around them. The Dark Universe series will never come to fruition because of The Mummy, and you know what? It bloody deserves it. Coming in at number 9 is The Fate of the Furious, the latest installment in a film franchise that died a long time ago, but Hollywood keeps on dragging its decaying corpse out of its coffin and trying to convince you that it's still alive like a modern day Weekend at Bernie's. Nothing in this film makes sense at all. Tyrese Gibson is just there to add comedic effect, which doesn't work again. He makes the stupid fucking decision to drive a Lamborghini through the Arctic ice shelf whilst everyone else is being realistic, and also, for some reason, the laws of physics don't exist in this universe, because there's a scene right near the end where for some reason Vin Diesel is being protected by everyone's cars from an exploding submarine. If Isaac Newton were alive, he'd punch you in the face. They also try and drive on top of that submarine whilst it's breaking out of the ice, and Jason Statham has a gunfight scene on a plane whilst carrying a baby. Okay, please just let the Fast and the Furious series die. Please. Hey look, it's that horror movie sequel that everyone definitely wanted, right? Right? Well, I thought I did back in February last year, until I saw Rings. Rings presents itself as this new era horror with new kinds of scares added to it. Oh look, a computer virus that's going to kill you within 7 days if you don't tell anyone about it, because that way you will transmit the virus to the other person and you'll stay alive. Come on guys, I got enough of this shit in Unfriended.
Well, the glitch just typed.
Up next is a comedy film about a rivalry between two teachers that tries to be funny but just comes off as cringeworthy. And that, my friends, is Fist Fight. Charlie Day and Ice Cube have proven to be talented performers in the past, but this time it was just boring. There's nothing really of value here except for a couple of moments that made me go, and that was it. The scene in the third act where Charlie Day tries to buy drugs in exchange for 2 MacBook Pros was the moment when I just switched off completely from this. Hey look, it's a comedy film sequel that so many people asked for, and it definitely didn't make people want to throw up in their seats in the cinema. And it's Daddy's Home too! Woohoo! I honestly do not mind the first Daddy's Home. In fact, there were some moments which I found to be quite enjoyable. But this one though? Oh my god, it was just filled with so many awkward moments that I couldn't even look at the screen most of the time. And you know a film is bad when I can't even do that. Mel Gibson's macho man persona just comes off as annoying, and whenever the story seems to move towards something very interesting that could possibly advance the plot and the relationship between the characters, it immediately skeeters off to something worse. And again with the third act, when they're singing Christmas songs with John Cena in the cinema, that made me want to rupture my eardrums. I pray to whatever deity there could be out there that there is not a Daddy's Home 3. Oh God, I really hope there isn't. Coming in at number 5 is Transformers The Last Knight. Michael Bay. Next! Alright, fine. I'll talk about it. For fuck's sake. Can we please just let this die already? There is too much to talk about this. You have a teenage girl coming onto a battlefield which involves a spaceship threatening to swallow the Earth whole. Optimus Prime barely even appears on the film despite being on the poster. And Mark Wahlberg didn't even want to be there, and you could really tell. Congratulations, Michael Bay. You've made it onto my worst of the year list 2 years running. Who knows? Maybe you might make it onto my worst films of 2018 list. I mean, 3 times the charm, right? I used this clip from one of the trailers in my review for this, and it basically sums up what I think Michael Bay should do every time he considers making another Transformers film.
You get back in your hole and think about what you did!
Guys, for a while I believed that Unforgettable was going to be a good film. It seemed to show itself in the trailers as this oh so dark and edgy kind of story, but it just bored the shit out of me. Nothing happens for a good chunk of the story, and Rosario Dawson seems to be the only one caring about her role. Also, I've heard that Katherine Heigl apparently is a nightmare to work with on set, which explains a lot because, judging from her character, she was born for this role. The script is laughably bad, and Katherine Heigl tries to redeem herself at the end by committing suicide by stabbing herself in the chest with a samurai sword. I'm sorry, holy shit, I forgot that's how the film ended. Holy fucking shit, man. All laughter aside though, Unforgettable, ironically, was the most forgettable film of 2017. Oh my god. Another horrible comedy sequel with a Christmas twist to it that absolutely no one asked for. And that is A Bad Mum's Christmas. Of course it was going to make this list. It has Mila Kunis in it. Okay, fine, Ted was pretty funny, but other than that, no. Mila Kunis, It tries to entertain audiences during what's supposed to be the jolliest and happiest time of the year. The grandmothers are terrible people that treat their kids horribly. They don't seem to understand the fact that their daughters want to take their own paths in their lives and their own futures, and they ruin every chance they have to redeem themselves, and right near the end, they have the nerve to try and make us feel sympathy for them. No, absolutely not, okay? If you're going to treat someone like shit, don't try and make me feel sympathy for you. My friend Lauren made a good point about A Bad Mum's Christmas in her review for this film, where she pointed out that this film was actually written by 2 men. And at times, judging from the dialogue between these 3 women, it's kind of obvious. They delve into way too much detail when it comes to their sex lives, and judging from other conversations that the ladies have in the story, I think to myself, is that how they think women talk? Is that really what these guys think that women say to each other? They are human beings, you know. They do talk about things other than sex. Alright guys, here we are. The top 2 worst pieces of shit that I saw in 2017. I was constantly flipping between this and what I have for number 1 to be the worst of the year. But I have finally made my decision. Coming in at number 2 is a film that I was so incredibly embarrassed to see at the cinema, but I had to bottle up all of my emotions at the time, because what I went to see was the Emoji Movie. The fact that this was made is what's wrong with it. Sir Patrick Stewart voicing Pooh, young people constantly going around on their phones, because that's not a negative stereotype at all. The boy taking his phone to be replaced simply because one emoji doesn't work, the relationship that relies simply on what emoji to send in a text message, the emoji dance, did I say emoji? I don't think I've said it enough! This is not a movie that people are going to look back on fondly, and if you're surprised I've only put this at my number 2, you're gonna love number 1. So before I announce the worst film that I saw in 2017, I want to talk about some other movies that I saw in the last 12 months that were some real stinkers, but unfortunately I could not add them onto the list. These films include Alien Covenant. Come on, we know why this one's here. It promised to start answering questions that were left unanswered from Prometheus, but instead it left open more unanswered questions. Ridley Scott, Please take a break. Jigsaw. Okay, I didn't mind this one that much except for the fact that it relied on the old torture methods just to stay alive, and the timeline from the original series is now so messed up that even Marty McFly is going, oh come on now. A Cure for Wellness. Dane DeHaan starring in what is supposed to be a very entertaining thriller about a mental institution in Switzerland just comes off as plain out boring. Jason Isaacs went from Harry Potter to this. You need to fire your agent. Rough Night. Admittedly, there was one scene in the movie that did make me laugh, but with the exception of just that one scene alone, there's not really that much of a saving grace to it. It's not as bad as the others, but I just don't think it's that good. Before number one is finally announced, I want to talk about one final movie in what I call my letdown mention. This goes to the story that I walked into the cinema hoping to love, and I walked out completely disappointed. And that, my friends, for 2017, goes to Atomic Blonde. I love Cold War stories. Bridge of Spies was my second favourite film of 2015, only just behind The Force Awakens. But this one is about government agents having a list of other government agents on their side, and they're trying to make sure that that list of government agents doesn't get into the wrong hands. And when it does, they have to get that list back, otherwise it could result in disastrous consequences for the world around us. Do you want to know where else I've seen that? Johnny English 2! Okay, and guess what? That was more watchable than this. We've made it, guys. The worst piece of filth that came out last year. For a very long time, I thought it was going to be the Emoji Movie. But no, there was one more that came out way back in January. It was the first film I saw in 2017, and it proved to be the worst movie I've ever seen in a cinema. And my friends, the worst movie of 2017 is The Bye-Bye Man! Holy shit, this was awful! The poster says, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it, don't think it, don't say it! But that's going to have the exact opposite effect on you. Carrie-Anne Moss lowers herself from the Matrix to this, okay? And she can literally be replaced by Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy. And he literally was a piece of wood!
What's Eddie doing, Plank?
A group of teenagers trying to defeat a demonic spirit. Where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, in these films. And the name, The Bye-Bye Man, is so stupid. You can literally just call this the Gloopy Manfish and it would still be scarier than that. But you know the main reason why I've chosen to put this at my number one instead of the Emoji Movie? It's because I want to pursue a career in the film industry. I've wanted to do that since I was 14. Directing, cinematography, script writing. I want to try so many things in the industry. And this film temporarily made me question why I still want to do that. Because I have documents on my computer filled to the brim with ideas for films, for TV shows, for short films, for books, you name it. Creative, fictional ideas. And the popularity of this film back in January made me think, you know what if a studio doesn't accept my film because it's not stupid enough? Okay, what if it's not going to make that much money because it actually has an intelligent plot when this makes double its budget in 2 days? This belongs in the cesspool of human history with the horrible dark memories that we are trying to evolve from and leave behind us. And that is why The Bye-Bye Man is the worst film of 2017. Okay, so I am back to being jolly again. I would say 2017 generally was a pretty good year for films. I try not to have a negative outlook on life because that just proves to be really bad for you in the long run. As horrible as some things do tend to be in the world, there is good in humanity. And regardless of all the horrible stuff I saw on the big screen this year, I was still able a lot of the time to go to the cinema and have a good time regardless, munching on popcorn, watching some great films. Guys, thank you so much for watching this latest video. I'm sorry I've not been able to upload that much over the last few months with the exception of my show reel. You can blame the university work for that. But I will try and keep updated as often as I possibly can over the coming months. Let me know in the comment section below what you think were the worst films of 2017. I hope you have a fantastic 2018. And other than that, guys, I've been Tartarus Pictures, and I will see you later. Good night.